I'm Tom Layson, and this is a Northwest Now Digital Extra. Many of the old Seattle neighborhoods are undergoing continued gentrification, which has the effect of pricing out members of the community that made those neighborhoods what they were and gave them their unique cultures. One of the neighborhoods about which there is a considerable concern is the Central District, and one of the relatively new voices working at the intersection of media and activism is Omari Salisbury.
My name is Omari Salisbury. I'm the founder of Converge Media. We create culturally relevant content for Seattle's Black community and beyond. We're here right now at our Black Media Matters studios in downtown Seattle. It's important to have this here in the community because at the end of the day, we can have no expectation for mainstream media to tell important stories about the Black community. Henry Yesler sold William Gross 12 acres of land right over by the Madison area, 23rd and Madison, and that's what became the Central District nearly 140 years ago. Black people have been here in the Central District of Seattle longer than Washington has been a state. And so Black people have a claim here in the Central District going back a very long time. Over years, it grew and blossomed. One, because Black people wanted to be around Black people, but two, also because racist housing covenants and redlining, Black people couldn't live nowhere else, basically, but the Central District. My family arrived here in Seattle when I was just 6 months old. I always tell people born and raised, there's a technicality to it, but and that was in 1975. Grew up in the Central District of Seattle, went to James A. Garfield High School. Almost every business there was Black owned. So you go to the dry cleaners, you go to the restaurant, you go to the corner store, you go to the drugstore. All these things were Black owned. This was a thriving economic enterprise. It was a true sense of community where, the next, your friend's mom was also your mom, you know what I'm saying? And in Garfield High School being that epicenter there, the same Garfield High School that Quincy Jones went to, and Ernestine Anderson went to, and Jimi Hendrix went to. We went to a library named after Black people. We swam in a swimming pool named after Black people. And then some years later, we're living in a county named after Martin Luther King Jr. Every corner of it represented and uplifted Blackness and represented and uplifted our culture. As the city of Seattle grew, people kind of realized this is actually a great location these Black people got. This is a prime place. And through government action, like Operation Weed and Seed, which a lot of houses were abated by the federal government, through just overall gentrification and systemic displacement, then you've seen the loss of the Black population there in the Central District. This thriving economic district that Black people had and owned, it's no more. Some of our grandparents and aunties and uncles who bought houses years ago, but because of this real estate boom here, now their taxes are like through the roof. They end up selling the property and basically losing an asset in some apartment building somewhere. How can they upzone it? How can they put as many people there and with no regard to the history, the tradition, the culture, and everything else in the neighborhood? No one has waved the white flag. People ain't giving up. There's the Liberty Bank building. There's Jackson Heights, Africatown Plaza, it's on its way up. These are all affordable housing developments that their first priority are for people who are displaced from the neighborhood. And they're bringing Black people back. We're rebuilding our community. And it's active, and we're not gonna stop. Nah, we're fighting every single day to reclaim the history, the legacy of the Central District, and put as many Black people back into the Central District as possible.
To see our full discussion about changing Seattle neighborhoods, be sure to look in the Northwest Now digital section at kbtc.org. Northwest Now airs Friday nights at 7:30 right here on KBTC, and be sure to look for more digital stories like this one by following us on Facebook and Twitter at Northwest Now.